I spent weeks planning his birthday party. He showed up late, said he was with the guys. When I hugged him, he smelled like her perfume. I didn't ruin the night, but the gift I gave him. He still has no idea what was inside that envelope. I spent 3 weeks planning my boyfriend Lucas's birthday party. He's not the type to organize his own anything. Not because he doesn't care, just one of those guys who forgets birthdays, shrugs off plans, says stuff like, "I'm chill with whatever." So I took it on myself. Rooftop venue, nothing too flashy, just enough twinkle lights and skyline to feel special. I booked it early because I knew it'd get snatched up. I curated a playlist. A mix of indie, early 2000s throwbacks, and the guilty pleasures he loved but never admitted to. Yes, Sugar, We're Going Down made the cut. I tracked down his favorite whiskey, the Japanese one we'd split a bottle of last winter, and had it delivered straight to the bar. Food, tacos from this one place 2 cities over. A ridiculous distance, but they were his tacos. The place we stopped at on our first road trip. They didn't even cater, so I had to call in a favor through a friend of a friend who owed me one. I ran the group chat with military precision. RSVPs, ride shares, outfit codes. Sent reminders. Lined up his friends. Even coordinated with his mom so she could send a video message from Florida. I baked the cake myself. 3 layers. Chocolate, vanilla, chocolate, homemade icing, gold candles. I wore the dress he liked, the blue one he always said made me look annoyingly good. I curled my hair, did the makeup with the shimmer he once told me smelled like something expensive. I looked like someone who wanted to celebrate her person. The party started at 7. Music on, drinks poured, people arriving. His friends are friends, laughter building in corners. Everyone kept asking, "Where's Lucas?" And I kept checking the time. I told them he's on the way, like I wasn't already clenching my teeth. At 9:13, he walked in. No apology, no text before, no update. Just strolled in, 2 hours late, like he'd been around the corner and not somewhere else entirely. "Sorry," he said with a half grin, already pulling a beer from the cooler. "Was with the guys." No urgency, no shame. And then I hugged him. Because I had to, people were watching. I wrapped my arms around him and leaned in, and that's when I caught it. Perfume, not just any perfume, not mine. Vanilla and jasmine, the kind that clung to clothes and crept behind you like a shadow. Soft, sweet, and far too familiar. I pulled back too fast, covered it with a smile. Laughed when someone shouted his name and raised a glass. He grinned at me like nothing was off, like this was still his night. And maybe it was. Maybe he thought I'd stay in that role, the adoring girlfriend, the silent planner, the woman who makes things nice. I did for the rest of the night, but something had shifted. The effort I put in, it calcified into something sharp. Every compliment I gave, every slice of cake I served, every photo I smiled for, it became a layer over something colder. I was already packing it away in my head, already stepping out of the story while he was still in it. I played my part, made sure the night stayed shiny. But deep down, I knew the gift I brought him was the last thing I'd ever give him. And the best part? He still has no idea what was inside that envelope. I didn't say a word that night. Not about the perfume, not about the time, not about how he showed up like a guest at his own party. Instead, I smiled for the photos. The kind of smile that sits right on the edge of your face, clean and practiced. I played hostess like nothing was wrong, poured drinks, floated between conversations, made sure the playlist didn't skip. He basked in it. All of it. Surrounded by people he didn't text back half the year. Laughing too loud, shouting lyrics, thanking everyone like the whole thing just happened on its own. He gave me a toast, a slurred "my girl really went all out, huh?" Like I was a wedding planner, not his girlfriend. Everyone laughed. He kissed my cheek. I smiled again. But the way I watched him that night, it was like watching someone through glass. Like I was trying to remember why I ever saw him clearly. Around 11, people started asking about presents. Someone shouted, "Yo, where's the main gift?" And I acted surprised, like I hadn't been waiting for this exact moment. I told him I wanted to give it to him when it was just us. But everyone was insisting, and he loved an audience, so I gave him the box right there. Small, black, tied with a thin gold ribbon, understated, deliberate. He opened it, pulled out the card first. I watched his face. He scanned it, something sweet, just vague enough to feel personal without saying anything. Then he reached for the envelope. It was thick, heavy, cream-colored, textured. His name handwritten across the front. No decoration, no hint. "What's this?" he asked, holding it up. "Open it later," I said, my voice soft, sweet. He raised his eyebrows. "Ooh, mysterious." "It's a slow burn kind of gift," I said. He laughed and tucked it back into the box. Kissed my cheek again. "You're the best," he said. That line landed like static in my ears. I just smiled and started slicing the cake. Later, people cleared out. The rooftop emptied slowly, drinks drained, hugs given. He stayed behind with me to help pack up, barely lifting a hand. I didn't mind. I didn't need the help. I just needed the ending. He kept glancing at the box like he'd forget about it otherwise. I said nothing. Let him take it with him. He still hasn't opened it. And the longer he waits, the better it gets. 2 days later, I asked, "Did you open your gift?" We were on the couch. He was on his phone, half watching some show he put on just to fill the space. I'd waited long enough to ask that it wouldn't seem suspicious, but not so long that he'd think I forgot. He looked up and grinned. "Not yet," he said. "I'm saving it." I tilted my head and smiled like I was charmed. "That's smart," I said. "Some things hit better when you wait." He nodded, satisfied with himself. He thought I was impressed by his patience. He had no idea he was prolonging his own unraveling, because inside that envelope, sealed, smooth, and waiting, is a photo. Glossy, 8x10, full color. Her sitting in the passenger seat of his car, wearing his hoodie. The one I folded for him that morning. Her nails were on his knee. His hand, unmistakably his, with the small scar near the thumb, rested on her thigh. They looked happy, relaxed. Like they'd done this before. The photo was time-stamped. Date, time, 8:34 p.m. the night of his birthday party, the night he said he was with the guys. I didn't screenshot it. That would have been too easy, too disposable. I had it printed. A friend of mine works at a local print shop. No questions asked. I emailed it in under a fake name, paid cash. Picked it up in an envelope that looked like it held a resume or a thank you card. When I slid that print into the envelope, I did it slowly. Smoothed the flap, pressed it shut with the pad of my finger. No tape, no note, no accusation, just truth printed in high resolution, and he still hasn't opened it. Every time I see him glance at the envelope, I want to ask, "You still saving it?" But I don't. I let it sit there, alive and waiting, like a fuse he doesn't know he's lit. I mailed a second copy to her workplace. I found it easily. Her LinkedIn was public. Executive assistant at a boutique interior design firm, 20 minutes from our apartment. Tasteful, small staff. The kind of place where everyone reads the mailroom labels, even if it's not theirs. I used the same photo, same printing service. This time, I placed it in a plain envelope. No return address. Just her name on the front in careful handwriting and a sticky note inside that read. "Thought you might want to print for your desk." That was it, no signature, no explanation, just quiet chaos in a manila envelope. I dropped it in a mailbox on the edge of town. Didn't tell anyone, didn't wait for a reaction. I just went home, poured a glass of wine, and made dinner like it was any other Tuesday. And that night, right around 9:15, Lucas texted me. "Can we talk?" I stared at the message for a second. Let it hang there on my screen, vibrating with panic he didn't know how to word yet. I waited a beat, then wrote back, "After you open the gift." Nothing else. No punctuation, no heart emoji, no smile. He didn't respond. I could feel it start then, the tilt in his world, the sliver of dread cracking through whatever story he thought he'd keep writing. And I didn't have to raise my voice. Didn't have to confront him. I just gave him the gift of truth and made sure I wasn't the only one unwrapping it. He finally opened the envelope. I know because he sent me a one-word text. Wow. Then, 30 seconds later. "It's not what it looks like." That was his line, after everything. Not an apology, not an explanation, just the laziest string of denial ever written. I didn't reply, not to that. Not to the string of follow-ups that started pouring in. "Can we talk?" I didn't mean for it to happen like that. You don't understand the situation. I understood it perfectly. So instead of answering, I started reclaiming things. First, I removed him from my Spotify family plan. Then I changed the Netflix password. New email, two-factor auth, logged every device out. I took back my Disney Plus, my shared grocery list, my calendar access. Then I opened Venmo. I typed in his name. Sent a request for exactly half of the party expenses: catering, venue, decor, the cake. Itemized in the notes. I ended it with, "Since I wasn't your only date." He didn't respond to that one. I watched the little pending sit there all day. He didn't decline, didn't accept. I think he knew if he did either, he'd have to admit this happened. Me, I cleaned out the fridge, lit a candle, put on a playlist without his name on it. He spent weeks playing both sides. I spent one night flipping the board. Her Instagram went private. His profile? Quiet. Nothing new. No gym selfies, no playlist shares, no tags, just silence where his online life used to be loud. I didn't check obsessively, just once. Out of curiosity. To confirm what I already knew, they were unraveling. Me, I changed my number. Not because I was afraid he'd call again, I just wanted a clean slate. No more second chances hiding in unread messages. I bought myself flowers on a random Wednesday. Bright ones, loud, ridiculous, clashing colors that looked like a celebration, not an apology. The woman at the flower stand asked who they were for. I said, "Me," and smiled. Then I booked a weekend trip with my best friend. Somewhere coastal. Somewhere with sun and drinks served in glasses that sweat on the table. I packed light. Wore the blue dress again, the one he used to love. And on the flight, while my phone was on airplane mode and the clouds were layered like silk, I thought about the envelope. That photo. If I regret anything, it's this. I should have had it printed in black and white. Would have looked more cinematic. More classic. But even in full color, it did the job. And some endings don't need a filter, just perfect timing. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.